Hola, bienvenido a un nuevo video de Escucha Podcast, un nuevo podcast, un nuevo episodio. Hoy vamos a estar con un emprendedor, un joven emprendedor, su nombre es Betancur y bueno, vamos a dejar que se presente él. Mejor que él, no hay nadie que se presente, ¿verdad? Así que, a ver qué tal. Hey Joshua.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing good, how are you? You hear me good?
Yes, I can hear you. How you been?
You understand me because I have an accent, so I don't know.
Oh, no, sí te entiendo. I understand you.
Got it?
Yeah.
How are you? How you doing?
Good, how about you? Thank you for having me on.
No, it's a pleasure. Thank you for taking the time. I know you're pretty busy.
No, of course, I always make time for something that's important to me.
Oh, thank you so much. So can you introduce yourself? Like, let us know who you are.
So my name is Joshua Betancur. I'm an entrepreneur. I own a marketing. I'm a serial entrepreneur, so I own a marketing firm. We do website development. We do calls for have your businesses go in business per se. I have an Amazon business. I do a little bit of private money lending. So I'm a master nut in the sense of where I have a lot of business ventures to go into. I'm a very passionate person in regards to when my ideas spark, I go take an initiative and I work upon that. Whether I fail or not, I can at least say I've worked. That's who I am, and that's who I'm proud to be. I'm never afraid to admit that I am an entrepreneur. Never afraid to admit that I have failed. I have succeeded in some extent in light, but that's how it is for me.
Okay, right. Can you also let us know about your background, where you came from?
Yes. So my background, I come from Mexican descent. My parents are both immigrants. I'm fortunate enough to say that I was here, so I have that immigration side of my family, but I also have the American side of my family. Granted, I did move to Mexico for a couple of years, so at the age of 6, I came back here, and I struggled a little bit with English. I couldn't form words properly. I didn't understand language, so I was struggling with that till around 9 or 10 years. Until I was like 9 or 10. And yeah, I've always been a student that's really struggled with school. I was never the brightest tool in the toolbox per se, but I was always a fighter. I would admit that I was always a fighter, no matter if it was in school or what have you. I was very determined to succeed in life. And I'm fortunate enough to say that I have succeeded to a certain extent. And yeah, that's what I come from. And I'm proud to admit that I am a Latino man. I'm proud to admit that I'm a successful Latino man, because that's something that you have to work really hard for. That's something that isn't handed to you in a silver platter, because we come from a minority background. We have our setbacks, our challenges, but I strongly disagree with the mindset that those are things that should set us far back, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, I get it. I remember that you post one day, I saw a picture that you post on insurance study. Let me see if I remember. Because I see a photo that you post on Instagram story saying that, when they see a successful Latino young man, they say they're selling drugs or doing something illegal. What do you think about that? What your advice?
For any Latino person trying to succeed in life, I strongly suggest to keep a firm head. I strongly suggest that you should always be firm-minded. You should never have anybody else's opinion of you change circumstances or change what you want to do in life. I've had people tell me that I wouldn't succeed in life. I've had people tell me that dropping out of college was a bad decision. I've had people tell me all types of things just in the past year. I've been through that experience myself. I've had people question my business. I've had people question my legitimacy, things like this. And the only thing I can say is to know your worth, to know that their words should not mean anything to you. If they're not helping you succeed, they should not mean anything to you. Another thing is let them talk. I could frankly care what anybody has to say about me. I've gotten to a point in my life to where I really could. Criticism is one thing, but hypocrisy is another thing. I've gotten to a point of where I can identify what is which, and I can identify what should I take in and what should I not take in. Negativity is something that you should always steer away from. Don't get into those bad vibes. That's the one thing I highly suggest. Whenever you're on your entrepreneurship journey, you're gonna have your ups and downs. That's exactly what I've been through myself. I've been through a lot of up and downs. If you follow me on Instagram, you see the majority of my highlight reel. You don't see the thousands of hours I spend on college. You don't see the thousands of hours spent on marketing consultations, demographic breakdowns, geo-targeting, doing ads, looking at ads, cinematography. You don't see none of that. You just see a highlight reel. So you should always consider that whenever you're hypocritical in regards to somebody else's journey. So that's the one thing I have to give an advice. Another thing is, you're Latino. When you're a Latino, you have a lot of different things, internal conflicts too. You have to understand. Our parents come here from a different country. They give up their lives to be here for you to succeed. Success is different for every person. So I don't know what type of success would be for you or for whoever's listening to this podcast, but they have come here for that reason, right? So whether you succeed in financial business, whether you succeed in college, what have you, just know that you succeeded for yourself and also for them, right? So you should always keep that in mind. That's the one thing that I took for granted when I dropped out of college. I really wasn't taking in the considerations of my parents. That's something that that's based on your beliefs. Me personally, I believe that you should respect your parents' opinions, but there comes a point to where you have to make your own decisions, right? Because 4 years can do a lot for your life. 1 year has changed my life dramatically. My life has changed dramatically from last year to this year. I've seen more financial gains in the past 3 months than most people see in their lives. And I say it because I want people to know that it's possible to change your life like this, right? If you are determined, if you know how to do things properly, if you know how to outsource, you know how to have proper time management, you can do whatever you want in life. I strongly believe that because that is what I'm doing.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for all the advice. I think that is going to help a lot of people. What are you saying? Also, we want to know about you a little bit. Who is Josh? Who you like? What you like to do?
I love a lot of things. So me, I'm a very passionate person when it comes to more of culinary arts. I love food. I love everything that's about food. I love my culture. I love cooking. I love dancing. I love the Latino culture in general, right?
Yeah.
I'm very passionate about that because, like I said, I've seen the struggles of the Latino community. So that's something I'm really passionate about. I'm really passionate about immigration reform. Again, the side is political, but that's really affects me because, like I said, I could have been one of those children in those cages. So right now, I'm using the financial power that I have to fight back because I am in a position to where I can use my financial aid to help in those situations. That's something I'm strongly emphasizing on. I'm building a foundation in regards to that. I'm trying to fight back as much as I can myself. That's something that I'm very passionate about myself. I love helping people. That's me personally. I really love helping people, whether it's in regards to financial stability, whether it's helping them start a business, what have you. I'm really passionate about that because I know the struggle. I know what it's like starting a business. I know the struggle in life in general. I've been through a lot of situations myself, so I know how it's like being down on the ground. I've hit rock bottom myself last year. Like last year, I've had 3 surgeries consecutively for my knees. I thought I wouldn't be able to walk. So I know what rock bottom feels like. I've been through depression myself. So that's why I strongly believe I was put on this earth not to make as much money as possible, to help as many people as possible. That's my belief of what I was put on this earth to do, and that's what I've been trying to do. Other than that, I'm a really big person to movies. I love movies. I used to have this thing, the AMC A-list pass, and I would use it every week. I'd go 3 times a week to the movies because it was $17 for a month. I'm really passionate about that. Other than that, I'm a really bland person. Right now, I really have no social life, so I can't really tell you that I'm out and about doing things. Yes, I want to travel. Right now, we're in a situation.
It's hard.
Yeah, it's hard right now. Right now, it's hard having a social life. And it's really hard having a social life when you're trying to build something, right? Because the thing is, people believe when you become an entrepreneur, you give up your 9 to 5. That's correct. You give up your 9 to 5, but now I work from 9 a.m. to 3 a.m., right? That's my schedule now. My schedule is all over the place. It's hectic. So you have to know how to balance your life out. That's my biggest flaw. It's time management, in the sense of where everything about me is work. I don't really enjoy anything right now. But that's another thing you really have to consider. Your family, you want to be able to spend time with them. The only reason why I'm working so hard right now is because I don't want my children to go through the struggles that I had to go through as a child. See my parents work hard hours. You understand, they worked hard hours for me to be where I'm at. So I really don't want my children to go through that themselves. That's why I'm grinding. Yeah, but yeah, that's a little bit about me. As you can see, I'm more of a business mindset. I'm not really more of like a person thinking about other things, but that's one of the things. That's my flaw, of course. That's my flaw. I'm very business oriented. I'm going to where I'm a machine. I personally treat myself as a machine now because I'm young, right? That's the one thing you have to understand. We are young. your most important asset right now is time. Your most important asset, if you are below 30, if you're below 40, your most important asset right now is time. Why? Because you still have time to change your life. You can literally go from broke to millionaire in a year if you change how you work.
It's incredible. How many hours you basically sleep? How many hours you sleep?
It depends. So I usually wake up about 4 in the morning. Again, I wake up at 4 in the morning because I wake up at 4. I have to do a lot with marketing. Marketing is my bread and butter. That's what I do. Luckily, I don't have to do the marketing myself. I have a team. I have a marketing firm that's based out of Ontario, Canada. So because of our time differences, I have to wake up a little bit earlier to have those talks and things like that. I also have a couple clients in Singapore. So that's one of the things that I really have to be on top of. They're across the world. I can't really fly out whenever I want, especially right now. So I have to be on top of that. I have to be on top of my translators, things like that. So I wake up at 4. Sometimes I go to sleep at 11, sometimes at 10. It just depends, right? I try not to take naps, but sometimes I have to take a nap, right? I strongly disagree with the belief that a nap is a bad thing, especially if you're working hard. You deserve at least 30, 40 minutes to just sit down and relax. Like I said, sometimes I wake up at 4. Most of the days I wake up at 4. If I don't, the latest I wake up at 8. That's just because my body's been accustomed to waking up at 4. Even when I don't want to wake up, I have to wake up because my body wakes me up. But yeah, my sleep schedule is hectic. My life is a very hectic life. I'm telling you.
It's crazy.
Just know how to manage your time. If there's anything you take out of this, know how to manage your time, because you can do whatever you want if you know how to manage your time.
Perfect. Can you tell us how you started business? How you start this whole process?
I started in business. So for me, I started in business. Like I said, I've always been a serial entrepreneur. So I've always had different business ideas. I wanted to launch my leather backpack brand last year. I wanted to do variety packs for nutrition, like I used to like doing what I used to like selling in high school. So this is where I actually started. I used to be friends with football players, or I was friends with a lot of people in high school. What I used to do, since I like cooking, was I used to sell meal preps, right? So that's like, I sold them for dirt cheap. I'd like break even on them, this and that, because I was already cooking at my old job. I worked at this place called Lifetime Fitness. I really enjoyed that job. It was my first and only job, and I really liked it, but it made me into who I am now because of the situations I went through that job. But yeah, I was learning how to cook, and that's where my passion for cooking came from. Because originally I didn't want to do anything cooking. I really didn't enjoy it, but because I was in an area, it's like a Chipotle, right? They have different setups for like bell peppers, arugula, things like that. So I was just experimenting with different things, like what tastes good with what. It all stems back to this one thing. It sounds really funny, but like I said, I really like movies, and it all stemmed back to this movie called Ratatouille. That was my favorite movie as a little kid.
I love that movie.
That was my favorite movie as a little kid. It really changed my perspective on cooking itself. Since we are Latinos, the machismo. It's a very strong thing in the Latino community. Man shouldn't cook. This is not bullshit. Pardon my French, but that's bullshit. So that changed my perspective. I was like, wow, like I really want to know how to cook, right? I never got the opportunity because my mom, I am Mexican, so my mom just cooks. I was cooking. That's who I really get my cooking from. And when I started working at my job, I had to cook because I was a line cook. That was my job. So I learned how to make different meals, and I was like, you know what? Let me just take one here and let me just try to sell some meals there. I would sell like a power bowl. So it was like quinoa or rice with chicken and like some type of salad, or like it would usually be bell peppers, cut up bell peppers with a little bit of mustard seed, vinegar, rice, white wine vinegar, and a little bit of olive oil with lemon, and I just mix that up, chicken and rice, and that was the meal with a little bit of naan bread. And that's how my entrepreneurship journey started. I started off with that. And after that, I had marketing classes in high school. Since freshman year all the way up to senior year, I did marketing. That was one of my electives. And to this day, I still think my teacher, her name is Tanae Manning. I call her Tanae just because that's the type of relationship we had, or friendship, my bad. And that's where I really started doing marketing. I started off with Shopify dropshipping. Some of you may know it's just buying products from China or what have you and having it shipped out. You never touch the product. It goes from the manufacturer directly to the final consumer. So I started off with that, and I failed a little bit, right? I'm not gonna lie to you, I failed. I lost like $2,000 off my first 2 Shopify stores. And like, again, I really didn't have anything saved up. So that was a big hit for me.
Yeah.
And normally people would quit, right? Me, I wanted to quit. I'm not gonna lie. I wanted to quit. I was like, man, this is not for me. Entrepreneurship is not for me, you know. And I didn't. Luckily, I didn't quit. I launched another store. This store was called Primitive Aesthetics. It was a t-shirt brand store. So this one was more, again, as a passion project for me. It was shirts that said "Immigrants Make America Great" with the MAGA, you know, the "Make America Great" red shirt with the same font, just a different message. I did that, and I did really good. I actually did $25,000 in like 2 months, right? So that was my real first successful business. I failed at that business once because I didn't know how to do ads. I learned how to do ads through my own experience, and I learned that, and I succeeded with that store. Everything I made off that store, I donated to, I forgot what it was, two immigration nonprofit organizations. I honestly forgot what they're called, but I donated all of it to them because I was like, you know what, I did it for this reason, so I'm just going to give it back for that reason. And the only reason my store got shut down was because of trademark infringements. So somebody trademarked it. I didn't know, you know, I was young and naive. I didn't know to do a background check on that. So I got shut down. And that was just the start of marketing and Shopify for me, right? That taught me, Shopify in general, dropshipping taught me how to do website development, how to make an ad, how to make a logo, how to do this, and that. And that's something that I forever will be thankful for, right? Because it shows you how to build a brand from scratch, right? It shows you how to private label, how to source products, how to look at profit margins. It shows you everything you have to look at whenever you're building a legitimate business. So I took that information, and this is while I was still in high school. This is just all in the span of 1 year, my senior year. And I was like, I did this while I was still working at my job. And at this job, my lifetime, I unfortunately fell off the job. So what would happen is I would always go outside to take out the trash after my shift was done, right? And we would have to walk through a pool deck. So this area was always wet, and I always had on my slip-resistant shoes. I had my slip-resistant shoes on this day, but I still slipped, and I slipped. So my knee bent inwards, and it bent to the right, and it tore my lateral meniscus, my IT band, and my MCL. So I tore 3 ligaments in a span of like 2 seconds. And basically, I got fired from that job in the sense of where like they didn't want to pay for my for workers' comp. They didn't want to do any of that because I was still a minor. At the time, I didn't really know anything about legality, litigation, nothing like that. But now,
did you sue them?
No, of course I didn't, because I didn't know anything about it. But now where I'm at right now, I know everything about it. I could have won that case easily. That would have been an easy bag. But you learn, you live, right? And I was like, yeah, like I said, I'm really grateful because it taught me that I don't want to depend on anybody else to make me money, right? Because I thought I was making good money back then. I was making $15 an hour there, right? And that's really good money when you're a high schooler, and especially when I was just saving my money. I've always been a very frugal person. I don't like spending my money like that. Even when I have it, I'm very frugal. I still go thrifting. I love thrifting. I still drive my 2012 Acura. And yeah, like I said, that taught me that. And what I learned from Shopify, I took it and outsourced it out to marketing. So again, I go back to marketing because that's my bread and butter. I learned it from freshman up to senior year. So I was always knowing about marketing segmentation, how to do proper marketing. I just never put it into full effect. Right? Yeah, I knew the terminology, but it's one thing knowing terminology and doing the actual work, right? So at that point, I was jobless, and I was like, I need to make money, right? I was like, I thought the world was ending because I didn't have a job. I wasn't financially stable. So I reached out to a couple people, and not all of them said no, of course, but they were business owners, right? I was like, I want to surround myself with business owners, right? And all it takes is one person to give you a chance to change your life, right? And this one person, her name is Florence Martinez. I love her to death. She's my mentor. She's one of my mentors. She taught me a lot about life. She taught me a lot. She gave me the first opportunity to do marketing, right? So I met her outside of Lifetime. It was one day, she went in there to buy a smoothie. It would always be a vegan pineapple smoothie. I can't remember, I forgot. But I would always make it for her, right? And one day she was talking to her friend and she left on the counter. I was like, you know what, let me just go get this for her. And off the top of my head, I was like, let me just ask her if she's going to give me an opportunity to do marketing for her, right? And she's a very loving and caring person, and I thank God for that because she said yes. She was like, yes. All I told her was, you don't have to pay me anything. I will literally work for you for free. All you have to do is pay for the marketing services, right? Granted, my first couple ads were trash. I'm not going to lie to you, not looking back at it. My first couple ads were trash. I didn't even know how to do the ads manager at the point, so I really didn't know that. I didn't know Google SEO. I didn't know none of that, right? It was the start. So we launched a couple ads. They were just for promo, right? These were all lead generations in the sense of where I'd give them a BOGO code or a promotion code to say, if you use a promotion code, you get this percentage off. It was a supermarket. And it also had a taqueria on the side, right? So it was for tacos. I think it was like buy 3 tacos, get 1 for free if you use this BOGO. It's a way for me to track whenever they use that BOGO code to track my progress, right? To see, okay, they use my specific code, so I know it's an affiliate, right? In a sense where it was an affiliate program where if they use my code, I know that they use mine. I know that the marketing is working, right? I would track it back then. That's not how I would track it now. I track it through a lot of different methods. But I started off with that, right? And we started working together. We started doing this and this and that. The word of mouth just started spreading about me. And I reached out to my pediatrician. Her name is Bellagio Ducina. She's one of my top clients now, too. For her, same exact thing. She gave me an opportunity. And I know it's very bleak of how I'm explaining it right now, but it's just more of me explaining that, like, all it takes is you asking. Right? All it takes is you asking the people around, because you never know who's going to say yes, right? And it made me realize my worth. It made me realize my potential. And that's how I went about it, right? My marketing firm started last year. It's a 1-year-old business. It's a 7-figure business now, but it's a 1-year-old business. You have to understand that, right? So all that started off, I started taking off. And the thing is, I realized that I couldn't do all this work for myself, right? Because I was building websites, because I was doing marketing. I was doing everything. I was making business cards, making logos on Canva, website development. I was doing everything and anything to make a quick buck, right? Because I realized what I really wanted to do was open up my own restaurant, but I couldn't get there without making really good financial decisions, right? So we did that, and then it came to a point where I was going to networking events, right? This is where it gets. I was going to networking events, and I was meeting different people. Some of them were really shady, now that I think about it. Some of them were legit business owners. Some of them were scammers, to be honest, now that I look at it. And yeah, I went about it like that. A couple of them said yes. We would sit down to talk. We would do this, and that. One of them said yes, and it was for credit repair. And it turned out to be a complete scam, so I had to cut her off. I was just doing a lead funnel for her on Instagram. I was doing Instagram story ads, and I was doing Facebook story ads, right? It was just talking about how you can repair your credit, this and that. And I was doing that for her. And yeah, it didn't work out. I mean, it worked out in the sense of where I was getting her leads. I was getting people to contact her, but like I said, she's a scammer, so I'm not gonna mention her name. But it could have gotten me in a lot of legal trouble. So now, at the time, I wasn't doing any contracts with any of my clients. Now I do contracts and make sure that we are both protected under law, this and that. But yeah, I started doing that, and then one day I met this guy. His name is Rob. I met him. This one networking event at this place called Nitro Zone. It was literally a bowling alley, right? Somebody set it up at a bowling alley, and I met this guy named Rob. And Rob owns a marketing firm, right? Rob owns a white label marketing firm. So if some of you guys don't know, a white label marketing firm is the same as a white label product, right? Let's just say for example, let's just say this fish, right? Let's just say there's no branding on this fish, and I want to brand it as my own, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to reach out to the manufacturer and say, hey, let me private label this product, have my logo somewhere on this product and say that it's mine, right? Well, the same exact thing works with a white label marketing firm in a sense where I'm going to say, hey, since you own the white label marketing firm, I'm going to say, hey, I basically be a general contractor. So in the sense of where I put together a team, have the marketing done, right? On their behalf, I would be the one lead generating, right? In the sense of we're getting clients, reaching out to different people to do that. And then we would set that up, and then they would do the marketing, right? That's how it worked. Right? I paid a $25,000 base commission fee. So I paid them $25,000 up front for the year. So technically negative $25,000. That establishes that we are in contract together. That establishes that their marketing managers, their advertisers, what have you, their videographers work for me. So yeah, so we established that. And I took a big risk with that because at the time I really didn't have any clients like that. But I started reaching out to a lot more clients. And like I said, word of mouth really spreads. And where I live, there's this thing called the Gwinnett Commerce Chambers. So this is just a chambers for business owners in the county that I'm in, right? And one of my clients, Bellagio Lucina, is one of the bigger members in that group, and she started spreading word through there. And through that, I met one of my biggest clients. It's a law firm, right? So now I work with law firms. I do more diverse settlement law firm-based marketing in the sense of where we do advertisement on radio, we do advertisement through ClickFunnels, we do advertisement through telephone, we do advertisement for any way to get clients in that are going through divorce. Again, this is an unfortunate subject, but it is a service that is needed. So I provide my services for advertisement, and I get paid a base commission on whatever the divorce settlement is. I get paid 12.5% base commission, and I get paid, I think, $2,500 for lead generation, right? So my initial fee for every client that I bring in, every potential client is $2,500, right? After that, whatever the divorce settlement is, I get 12.5% of that, right? So sometimes it takes a while for that divorce settlement check to come in, but when it comes in really big. Why? Because it's a commission-based payout, right? So let's just say these are 7 to 8 figure earners, right? These are people that have assets they want to protect. Sometimes it's worth it for them to pay out $2 million in divorce settlements, right? Well, I get 12.5% of that, right? So let's just say the divorce settlement is $2 million. Right. Again, this is not my income fluctuates drastically on a month-to-month basis. This month I've done 1.8 million. Next month I could do 200,000 or 10,000, right? That's the risk you take as a business owner. That's the risk that you take as an entrepreneur, right? So yeah, I can have a really good month this month. Last month it could go to the gutter. Right? So that's one thing that I want everybody to know is that these numbers are realistic, but they can fluctuate drastically over time. Right, so off of base commission, off of $2,250,000 off of base commission payouts. Right? Again, I have to pay out my contracts, so my company is based off 1099 contracts. I don't have no W-2 workers. I don't have no W-9 workers. Everything is based off of contracts because since the markets are very volatile in the sense of where some months there really isn't no divorce settlements that need to be the net happen. There's no people there. There's always people getting divorced, but my law firm I work with, they work directly in Georgia. They work in the South. So they work in Georgia, North Carolina, Tennessee, South Carolina, Florida. So these are states that they work with. It makes sense for them to work in this area. So yeah, so that's what we target. And some months can be very bleak. Some of them can be really good, right? Now this established relationship is one that I built out throughout this whole year. And we have a contract that goes out for 4 years, right? For 4 years after this year, so 5 years in total, right? So at that point, after those 5 years, we can either break our bonds, cut our loose ends, or we can continue working together, right? But again, this is all a process I had to go through. It's very bleak of how I'm explaining it, but it's a lot of process, a lot of thought, a lot of effort that went into building these connections because it's a connection-based business, right? You want to make people feel like they're valued. You want to make people feel like they're appreciated, especially in marketing, because you want somebody to take a course of action, right? Whether it's buy a product, use a service, use your development softwares, what have you, have an end result, right? So that's the type of business I'm in. And yeah, that's about it on that part. I also do Amazon. Like I said, I'm master of none in the sense of where I love expanding business. Amazon itself has really taken off in the past 2 months, to be honest, because I've gotten to a point where I've done a lot of research. I'm a very informed person. I strongly believe that all the information you really need is out there in the internet. Granted, you're gonna have to search for it, but it's all out on the internet. And I've gotten to a point where I'm at right now on Amazon to where I can say that I can build a 6 to 7 figure business in the next 2 years with Amazon. And again, that's me saying that. I want to say that because I want everybody to know it's possible. I sound like a broken record, but I just want to emphasize that point that it's possible. Anything is possible.
What motivates you? What makes you wake up every single day with a purpose, with that fire in your vein to do what you do?
The fire in my vein. To be honest, it's just saying that I succeeded, right? Motivates me is me being able to say that I did something with my life. I'm more a person's based off legacy. I want to build a legacy, right? I don't want to be remembered for the money that I made. I want to be remembered for what the things I did in this world, right? And I can't really do that without being financially stable. I want to get to a point where I don't have to worry about money coming in, right? That's what motivates me. Another thing is I've seen people struggle with money, right? I don't want me to struggle with money. I don't want my family to struggle with money. I don't want any of that. So that motivates me. I have to get up because I have people that rely on me, right? Right now, I have 6 figures of expenses, right? I have 6 figures of expenses on a monthly basis, right? I have to get up now. I have to get up, right? I have hundreds of thousands worth of money being revolved around on a monthly basis. I have to get up. I have to now. I've gotten to a point where I can't fail. I cannot fail. I have people relying on me. I have people that have families that are relying on me to bring work for them, right? So I have people rely on me. When you get to a point where you're outsourcing work, where you have employees, you have to come to realization that you're not just doing it for yourself anymore. That's how a parent has to realize they're no longer just taking care of themselves. These are babies, right? You have to understand my business is my baby. You have to understand it's just the same as me giving birth to something. I grew it up. It's basically growing in front of my eyes. It's my baby, and I have to take care of it, right? And with my baby, I have to take care of the people that are in business, right? Because what good is having a good business if you don't have people you can share it with, or you don't have people that are excited to work with you, right? Because I don't want an employee, or I don't want anybody who's working with me to feel like it's a job, right? Because I don't want anybody to feel like it's a job. I want them to enjoy what they're doing. I want them to be able to say, I'm satisfied with the life I'm living. I'm satisfied with doing what I'm doing. So that's what motivates me. The 3 things are I have people relying on me, my family, and then just me in general. You have to realize that sometimes it's okay to be selfish in a sense of where you have to realize what's good for you. You have to realize that there comes a point to where you have to focus on yourself. Because why? Think about this example. Whenever you're in a plane, God forbid that plane goes down, who do they tell you to put the mask on first? You or the person right next to you? You. Why? Because you have to be able to help yourself before you can help anybody else. So there comes a point to where you have to be selfish, right? You have to be able to say, I'm doing this for me. I have to do this for me because I want more for myself. So that's my mindset. I want the best for me. Why? Because I know my worth and I know that I can get what's best for me. Right? That's how you have to look at business too. You have to be able to say sometimes you have to cut some business ends loose. Why? Because some of them don't make sense on a financial standpoint. Some of them don't make sense on an emotional standpoint. You should never intertwine emotions with business, but at some point it does come to a point of where you intertwine them, and you have to realize some things aren't just good for business. So that's one of the things that that comes across my mind in regards to that.
Perfect. Let's talk about e-commerce. It seems like this Q4 is going to be one of the biggest Q4 in e-commerce. What do you think about it?
That is very correct. Right now, if you looked at the stock market itself, you can realize the valuation of Amazon in general has tripled in the past year. The valuation of a stock is worth around $3,200 right now. It just shows you that e-commerce is really booming right now, right? Why? Because we're in a pandemic and it's opening eyes. It's opening eyes that never opened before, right? We're in a world, we're in an ever-changing world in the sense of where people are no longer going to the mall, or they're not going to the mall as much as they used to. People are using services such as Uber to get their food delivered to them. People are using services such as Prime, Amazon Prime, to get products delivered to them. People no longer want to go to their house, right? We're in an ever-changing world, and people have to realize that. And especially now, Q4, Christmas time, that stimulus check is coming in, right? I need to buy my kid a gift, right? And I can't go to the mall. Well, I can go to Amazon and buy something. I can go to Nike.com and buy something. I can do this, and that, right? It just establishes that e-commerce is here to stay, right? E-commerce is an ever-growing business, right? That's one of the things I really want to get big into is real estate in regards to e-commerce. Right now, if you read articles, Amazon is struggling fulfilling orders to their warehouses. Their warehouses are backed up, and they're trying to do merger deals with the biggest mall owners in the country, right? They want to be able to use JCPenney stores as fulfillment centers, right? Well, one of my plans is to get big into warehouse rentals, right? So I want to buy warehouses to rent them out because there's going to come a point to where they can't do that either, and they're going to need that. So it just goes to show you that e-commerce is booming. Q4 in general is going to be really big this year. Q4 is always the biggest year in the fiscal cycle because there's a lot of money being revolved around. It's all based on holidays. It's all based on excitement. It's all based on consumers spending. It's all based off business at this point, right? Because people used holidays as an excuse to go buy something, right? Ooh, it's Christmas time. I'm going to buy myself this, and that, right? Well, you can look at it from 2 perspectives. You can look at it as a business perspective or as a consumer perspective, right? Will I be the one making the purchase, or will I be the one making the sale? Which way are you going to look at it, right? Right now, Q4 is the biggest time for that. Right now is the best time to hop on Amazon, to create a drop shipping store, to create a marketing firm. Why? Because there's a lot of money being revolved around. Regardless of what type of situation the country's in on a financial standpoint, money is always going to be revolved around. Why? Because that's how our world moves. Money moves the world in a sense where I can't go to the gas station without gas. I need money for my gas. I can't drink without paying for a utility or going to buy a toll pack from Walmart or Kroger or what have you, right? So it just shows you that Q4 is going to be very big this year. Me personally, I'm focusing more on the toys, consumer electronics side of things for Q4. That's me personally. I've established good relationships with some suppliers where negotiation tactics are the best way of going about it with Amazon. That's another thing I want to do a quick spew about. Whenever you're buying products, whenever you're doing this and that in regards to business, you can always negotiate pricing, right? That's the one thing that me myself I've learned recently. And that's one of the things I really want to emphasize, whether you're getting into wholesale, whether you're buying products for private label brand, you can always negotiate pricing, right? There's so many different tactics to negotiate pricings down, especially when it's at a wholesale price, because there's a lot of profit margins, right? The profitability in a product for wholesale is a lot more than what it is for retail. Why? Because they're the ones that are producing the product. They know what their cost of goods are. We don't know what their cost of goods are, right? So we can't negotiate down to dispute. They can. So that's the one thing you have to realize whenever it comes down to Amazon, you have to know how to negotiate. Why? Because my supplements, I sell supplements right now. I work big with a lot of brands. I have contracts with brands now. I have 70% profit margins on supplements, right? Originally it was at 35%, but I dropped it down some more because of my relationships, right? I use negotiation tactics. This is as simple as it get, right? Let's just say you find a product. You say, you want to buy 500 units of this product, right? Well, I'm going to go to my supplier. I'm going to say, I want to buy 100 units of this product, right? I already know what I want, right? I already know I want 500 units. I'm going to tell my supplier, I want 100 units, right? At the price that they have it, right? Let's say the product is at $21.99, right? That's how much they have it at, right? And you hit them with, I will buy 400 more units if you lower the pricing of this cost, right? Again, this is as simple as just changing the way you look at buying products, right? Originally, you knew you were going to buy 500 units regardless because you like the price that they're at. Why not ask for a discount and say that you're going to buy an extra 400 units, right? That's how you have to look at negotiations, right? That's how you make money on Amazon. A wholesale catalog that these suppliers provide, there's not profit margins there. The reason there's not is because they know two things. I know some people go into this business without no negotiation tactics, and that thing is people that do know how to do it, they can negotiate down. So that's my spew on that. For this year, Q4, everything is going to sell. Again, I say consumer electronics. When I say that, I'm talking about your Nintendos, PS5, things like that. These are products that are going to sell. You just have to find reliable suppliers that can provide you those products. Sometimes you have to have pre-orders. For example, for toys in general, I had to do pre-orders for toys. Something that influences markets like that are movies and television. Remember I told you about that. One of my biggest products I'm going to move during Q4 are Mandalorian products. You know what Mandalorian is? The show The Mandalorian? Well, it's a Star Wars show, right? And it's going to be really big again. So Star Wars products in general move. This is really going to move. I had to do a pre-order, but I knew these products were going to move regardless. So I'm going to have these Funko Pops available for me. But yeah, Q4, I strongly believe this will be the biggest one that we will ever see in a while. Why? Because everybody's home now, right? Nobody's going to go to the mall. I'm not sure how it is in New Jersey, or you live in New Jersey, correct?
New Jersey,
I'm not sure how it is in New Jersey, but Georgia is a different breed. Right now, everything's open, right? That's different for each, right? Right now, the malls gyms are open, this and that. It's a lot different here than what it is there, right? So consumer spending over there is going to be a lot different than what it is over here. People have access to Walmart, Kroger, things like that. So you just have to know that. But the beautiful thing about selling on a third-party platform is you can sell anybody in the country, anybody in the world, right? Why? Because you're not just limited to your 150-mile radius, your 10-mile radius like you are with other things as a brick and mortar. You can sell anybody in the world and ship it out.
Awesome. Awesome. One more question to finalize the podcast now.
Yeah.
So what's your advice for people who are starting in the e-commerce in business in general?
My advice to anybody who's starting in e-commerce or business in general, one of the first things I really want to emphasize is you have to have financial capabilities to fulfill your business dreams. I strongly disagree with the mindset of dropping everything and becoming an entrepreneur. I really don't agree with that. The entrepreneurship journey is a marathon, a race. You have to realize that you have the rest of your life to build a business. If you don't have money coming in to where you can build your dreams out from whatever passive income, whatever income is coming in, it won't work on the long run. Why? Because there's gonna come a point where the pot is gonna run dry, right? So I strongly disagree with just dropping out of school or college or a job if you don't have a plan in place, right? Why? Because with a plan, you can have a set goal in mind, you can set an initiative, right? That's the most important thing. You have to have an initiative, you have to have an end goal, right? Just because you say you want to be an entrepreneur doesn't mean that your end goal is going to be an entrepreneur, right? Because I could literally sell you this water and I'm an entrepreneur, right? I'm a business owner, not an entrepreneur, but a business owner in the sense where I sold your product, right? That's as simple as it gets. Well, I want to break even this year as an entrepreneur, right? Why? Because businesses don't break even until 4 or 5 years in. Granted, it's different for each business, but some businesses just comes down to that, right? Especially when you're a brick and mortar. Another thing that I really want people to suggest is to do their research, right? Yes, you could do drop shipping, but do you know how to create ads? Do you know the terminology? Do you know what people look for? Do you know what colors splash out more on a product page? Do you know the right terminology? Do you know how to do shipping? Do you know how to source products from Alibaba or what have you? Do you know how to do all these different things, right? You have to know how to do these things before you just jump into it. You have to do your research. You have to have a plan of action. Another thing is be careful on who you heed advice from, right? That's really, really essential, right? Why? Because I've gotten advice from multiple people, right? Why? Because I'm always a student. No matter how much you're making in life, you will always be a student. Why? Because there's levels to these things, right? Yeah, you could be doing 10,000 right now, right? But there's somebody doing 100,000 right now. There's somebody doing $1 million right now. Somebody doing $20-30 million a month, right? There's levels to this, right? So you have to understand who you heed advice from, right? Who's telling you what to do? Have they done what you're telling you what you should do, right? You should always keep that in mind, right? Some of these people, some of these course sellers, some of these people in general, they've never done the things that they say they need to do, right? And of course, that's being a marketer sometimes, right? Sometimes you have to play the part before you are the part, right? Sometimes it comes down to that, right? I respect that hustle, but again, you have to take things with consideration. You have to do your due diligence, right? Another thing is don't just give up. Don't ever give up. You're gonna fail. You're gonna fail. That's a part of life. Everybody fails in life, right? The people that succeed in life are the people who failed the most in life. That's what I strongly believe. The people who succeed in life are the ones that have had the most failures in life, right? Why? Because that builds character, that builds you up as a person, and helps you realize this mistake, I can't make it anymore, right? Especially when it comes down to monetary mistakes, right? You have to understand, if you make a mistake that costs you $1,000 and you don't have another $1,000 that you can fix it with, that's $1,000 on the drain. You're not going to make that mistake again. So you have to heed advice. You have to be able to understand that mistakes are a part of life, and you have to take those mistakes as learning lessons, right? They're not really mistakes. They're learning lessons that are thrown at you as curveballs. So those are things I really suggest any entrepreneur to consider. Another thing is, it sounds as simple as this, but start an LLC. As a business, of course, you want to make profit first before you even go out and start an LLC. But the second you make 200, 300 profit, start your LLC. You don't want any legal trouble. Right? You never want legal troubles, and always pay your taxes. Right? Nobody says this because it's the simplest things, but you want to know how to properly pay your taxes. You want to have a good financial team behind you, right? You want to have a good CPA, accountant behind you. You want to have that behind you, right? Especially if you don't know how to do your own taxes, you're going to want that because Uncle Sam is going to want his money. Uncle Sam's always going to come for his money, and there's loopholes around this, right? There's backdoor RAs, there's deductibles, there's things that you can learn to leverage that, right? Why? Because you have to understand this country was not created by the poor. It was created by the wealthy, right? There's always legal loopholes of how you can get the amount of taxes you're going to pay down, right? And another thing in regards to taxes is your fiscal year, right? No matter how much you're making, I pay my taxes quarterly because I'm making an amount of money to where it makes sense to where I pay my taxes quarterly. So I pay Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. The fiscal year is different for each company. My fiscal year ends in December for me, but my quarters usually in different time periods, right? But you have to understand that, and you have to understand how to pay those taxes, right? Because the thing is, like, you're going to be making money. When you start making money, Uncle Sam's going to want his cut. So you have to know how to properly pay Uncle Sam and how to take away deductibles. right? Because legally speaking, I could say I make $4,500 a month, right? Granted, everything else is an investment into the company that can have it reimbursed towards me. You know what I'm saying? So the amount of money that I really make, that's an investment in the company. I invested my personal money into this company, right? They're going to reimburse me at the end of the year. I could put that in my backdoor Roth IRA, have the money taxed at the very end of the year. A backdoor Roth IRA is more for, it's the same exact thing as a regular Roth IRA. It's just more for people that have more income coming in, right? Because with a regular Roth IRA, you can only put $6,000 a year, right? Let's just say I have $500,000 coming in a year that I want in my Roth IRA. That's what a backdoor Roth IRA is for. So yeah, those are things that you really want to consider. Thank you so much for having me here. I really appreciate the time.
I have one more question. Before we go. How do you see yourself in 5 years, 10 years?
Me?
5 to 10 years. 5 to 10.
I really don't know. I actually bought land in El Salvador. Sounds strange, right? But I bought land in El Salvador.
Why Salvador?
I saw a good business opportunity, and I took advantage. I really believe it was a really good business opportunity. I could buy land anywhere in the world, but I just saw this opportunity. I felt I had to take it. Sometimes you have to go with your gut.
Yeah.
And I want to start my own vineyard, and I want to start my own avocado orchard. The land is called Azulacao, something like that. It's very, very fertile land. It's in the mountains. It's beautiful. And I want to have that established, right? So in the next 5 years, I actually plan on moving down there just for a little bit, just to see my baby grow, right? Because like I said, that's my baby. That's my baby, right? I want to see everything's done properly. I just want to see that fulfilled before I really start exploring the world, right? Because the only reason why, one of the main reasons why I go so hard right now is because I want to enjoy my life, right? Like, what good is having money if you can't enjoy, right? What good is having money if you can't go places, right? I want to travel the world, and I can't do that without having a financial business, without having a business that's constantly bringing in passive income, business that has constant cash flow coming in, right? That's my goal, right? I want to be able to travel the world. I want to be able to tell my mom, you never have to work a day in your life. Granted, I can tell that right now because I make the money, but she's still young. Like, my mom's 35, I'm 19, so yeah, we're young. So like,
that's something that everybody needs to know, because this guy, you hearing this guy talking, you think he's like an old guy. He's 19 years old.
Yeah, 19. I'm 19. I'm sorry, I didn't mention that earlier. Yeah, I'm 19. Another thing before we leave, before I get back to that, is it should not matter. Right? Age should not determine when you get into business. Age should not determine any decision in life. Like I said, I'm 19. I'm not saying that to be cocky or anything. I'm just saying that to say that you can find success at any age, right? I know people that find success at 16. One of my mentees, so he's a mentee, he's a brother to me, he's my business partner, he's everything to me. His name is Armand. He's 16 years old.
Wow.
1,000 a month right now, and I want to help him do 100,000 a month before he turns 18, right? He still has 2 years to do that, right? I'm telling you guys this because I want you guys to know that when you guys see this guy, because I know he's going to be doing 100,000. I know it because he's a hard worker. I see it in him. I see the heart. I see the heart he has, and I see the ambition he has. And I really see that he can do 100,000 a month. When you see that, you're going to realize that age doesn't matter. Age does not matter what type of success you can have, what you can do. Legally speaking, it matters, but there's loopholes around that, right? In a sense of where I can co-sign on a business with him. His parents can co-sign on a business with him. This and that. There's always legal ways around things, right? So you should never let your age determine what you can do. Shit, you could even go out and sell water bottles, chips, this, and that. You just have the mindset of buy low, sell high, take you far in life, right? People don't understand that, right? That's as simple as it gets. Real estate, buy low, sell high. Wholesale, buy low, sell high. Private label, buy low, sell high.
That's what it is.
If you understand that and you understand consumer spending and how to market, you can rule the world. You can dominate. Why? Because 99% of the world doesn't think like that, right? It all starts with how you think in your head, right? It all starts, okay, well, I can either be the consumer, or I can be the producer of the product, or I can be the seller of the product, right? Or a service, right? Or what have you. You can sell whatever. You can make money a plethora of ways. YouTube, podcast, selling products, cook. If there's a will, there's a way. So that's what I'm going to leave it off with. I really want to thank you for having me on this podcast. Is there any other questions before we go?
No, that there's no more question. We cover everything. I really want to thank you for taking the time and do this podcast with me and for us, give you all the knowledge that you have. There's a lot of things that you know.
Yeah,
I really appreciate it.
I really hope people take something out of this. Like I said, I really hope that something valuable came out of this, that somebody can learn something from this. Like I said, we're all still students, no matter how much money you're making, no matter where in life, we're all still students. I'm still a student. I ask more questions now than I've ever asked before because I'm not afraid to ask questions. What's the worst they can say? No.
Yeah.
The worst they can say is cut you out, but what? So what? You took the chance of asking somebody for vital information, right? You can't eat without opening your mouth, right? That's one of the things you have to understand. You can't eat that without opening your mouth, without asking a question. Asking questions can take you so far in life, right? Why?
I realized that because I used to be so shy without asking questions. I used to be shy. I didn't like to ask questions or ask favor or something. But now I'm realizing that if you don't open your mouth, you don't eat.
No, you don't. Why? Because people don't know what you need, right? And people are willing to help. I promise you there's somebody who's willing to help. I'm always willing to help people. There's always somebody out there who's willing to help, right? It just comes down to asking. It really comes down to that. Yeah.